Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. So glad you kept your mom's home the way she had it, OP. It sounds beautiful, and I'm sure she too is happy she didn't write that will. Also glad that the crappy neighbor's gone. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Coworker sees me in the supermarket, accuses me of moonlighting. Context. I work for a bus company. When I'm driving a bus at my Home Depot, I wear the company bus driver uniform and don't put any particular effort into looking well-groomed. But I also pick up relief admin work at other depots when I can, which requires me to wear office work type smart casual gear, shave, and do my hair nice, etc. So a couple months ago, I've scored a decent stretch of office work at another depot and haven't driven a bus at my Home Depot for a few weeks. I'm doing some grocery shopping one day straight after work. I only needed a couple of things, so I hadn't bothered getting a basket. Anyway, I'm just wandering down one of the aisles, generally zoned out. I walk past another shopper and then around the corner to the next aisle before my brain processes who I've just passed, and I think, hey, that looks like Warren, another bus driver from my Home Depot. I backtrack and stick my head back down the aisle I've just come from, but Warren isn't there anymore. So I forget about it and go about my business. Name changed, Warren is an interminable pain in the butt who I can't stand, but I try and stay friendly with everyone because I'm a non-conflict kind of guy. Fast forward about 2 weeks and I'm back to driving a bus. First day back, I'm on my lunch break and Warren comes up to me in front of other drivers and friends and says, "Hey, ST-162, I saw you in the supermarket the other week." I laughed and replied, "Oh yeah, I thought that was you." I was spaced out and didn't realize until 30 seconds later, and when I went back to say, "Hi, you weren't there anymore," Warren just smiles and nods, so I feel it's my turn to continue the conversation. Which supermarket was that anyway? I can't remember. Warren, still smiling politely, "Oh, you work at more than one?" Me not having picked up on his choice of wording, "Yeah, the one closest to my house has undercover parking, but the one in the next suburb is a bigger store with a better range of products, so I go to both." Warren, still smiling, "How does that work?" Me, smile faltering, "How does what work?" Warren, "So you just go to one of them when you're finished here for the day?" Me, suddenly incredibly confused, "Sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about." Warren, "If you work at both supermarkets, do you just pick which one you go to every day?" Me, still having no clue what angle he's working. "Okay, we're on a totally different page here." Warren, "The other day, I saw you working in the supermarket." After a few seconds staring at him in bewilderment, I finally piece it together. He's seen me outside of regular work hours, outside of our common workplace, wearing business-appropriate attire instead of a bus driver uniform, and he thinks I blanked him because I'm some secret important supermarket manager type guy or something. Me, "Warren, why would I need to work at the supermarket? We make okay money. I don't need a second job." Warren, "So you're telling me you don't work there?" Me, "No." And then we stared at one another for a while until I walked away. We haven't spoken since. Why would he even care if you had a second job? It's none of his business. And our next story. The IRS never forgets. Appetizer. About 6 years ago, I started my own consulting business. I'm a talented engineer, but I was/am sadly naive about the ways of the world. I came from a nice, loving suburban background, and my parents taught me that all people are fundamentally good inside. They are not. To quote Dr. Cox, people are bastard-coated bastards with bastard filling. In most cases, I never got any sort of revenge. Eventually, I realize I'm being screwed, and I fire the individual/cut the contract, etc., and take it as a lesson learned and move on with my life. Main course. Except this one time, when I hired a sales guy. We'll call this sales guy Tony. Tony swept into my office on a cloud of amazing promises. He had a resume a mile long and many harrowing, unlikely, yet somehow plausible stories of his great sales success in past organizations. He wanted to partner with me to take my company to a new level, make more money than we've ever made before, etc., etc. Even better, Tony didn't even want a salary. He simply wanted to be able to take out loans from the company until his big sales pipeline kicked in. Then he would pay it all back from his giant commissions. It was a total win-win for everybody involved. This sounded like an amazing deal. What a nice guy, and clearly confident he could close a lot of sales, or else why forego a salary in favor of loans? I think, friends, it's probably obvious how this story goes. Over the course of the next year, Tony almost made so many huge sales that are totally ready to sign, but somehow never quite came through. And in that time, he took out over $60,000 in loans that he would totally pay back as soon as his monster sales finally came through. Finally, after so many big promises with zero results, I became suspicious. So I hacked open his company email account and saw that, in fact, he had never sent an email to a client, ever. In fact, the only emails he ever sent were to me and other people in my business talking himself up. All of his leads were utterly fake. He'd never talked to a single client a single time. In a year. Dessert. So I fired him and set about seeing what sort of revenge I could extract. First, I went to my lawyer, who told me what I expected. No legal routes existed to go after him that wouldn't cost me way more than I wanted to spend on revenge. Second, I hired a PI to dig into him. Turns out, surprise, surprise, that lots of people are after this guy. Former business partners, hospitals in Florida, some big medical thing he skipped out on, and a few others. It was finally my accountant who showed me the best way to get back at him without spending a lot of time or money. As I mentioned, he took out all of his pay from me as loans. Now that I'd spoken with the lawyer and the PI, I knew I had essentially a 0% chance of ever recovering that money from him, so I did the next best thing to benefit my business and to screw him over. I forgave the loans in their entirety. This had two huge impacts. First, I got a $60,000 tax write-off because the loans were now bad debt, which reduced my tax bill for 2013 to zero, a small but happy victory. Second, he now owes the IRS $20,000. You see, when I forgave the loan, it became income to him. Once it becomes income, full income taxes, including federal, state, payroll, Social Security, Medicare, etc., become due and payable. Because it's not payroll income, I don't have to pay the employer portion of the taxes. This means he owes the IRS $20,000, and he can never escape that through bankruptcy or any other means, and I have the world's most vicious attack dog trying to get money from him instead of whatever minor debt collection efforts I could have mustered. And our last story. Entitled farmer doesn't want to share a gate that's on the property line. I am a 38-year-old male, and the following events took place when I was about 12, so details will be few, but I'll share what I know. Growing up in a semi-developed area, my grandparents had acquired land in a rural location, which eventually became a neighborhood as they divided it among their children. My grandpa's expertise in moving houses also helped in relocating buildings to these new parcels. Living among family members as neighbors fostered a strong sense of community, and as new families moved in, they quickly became close friends. Despite being part of a larger city, the area still retained a small-town vibe. One day, a new neighbor, a realtor, started persuading my parents to invest in property as an opportunity. Wanting to avoid hurting his feelings, my parents decided to give him a seemingly impossible list of requirements for the property they'd consider buying. It had to be within a 2-hour drive, away from major cities but within 5 minutes of a nearby town, hidden from view, at least 1 acre in size, and have a stream running through it. To their surprise, the neighbor returned a week later, claiming to have found their unicorn property. It turned out that a less scrupulous realtor had sold scattered, mostly unusable pieces of land to various buyers. However, one tract of land was indeed suitable for my parents' needs, as it was accessible, flat enough for development, and had a stream running through it. Most farmers in the area rejected the opportunity to purchase a few acres from this land, dismissing it as unprofitable. Despite initial skepticism, my parents decided to buy the property, considering it an opportunity they couldn't pass up. The purchase was conducted meticulously with an independent survey to mark the boundaries accurately. With our family consisting of my parents, me, and my 3 siblings, we were old enough to help with construction projects, so instead of going on a camping trip, we parked our camping trailer on the new property to develop it ourselves, turning it into our vacation spot. As we planned the fence lines, we noticed that the neighbor's gate, which allowed access to his property, was partially situated on our side of the property line. We left a gap in our fence so that the gate could still be used by him while securing our own property. This is where the story unfolds. The main characters are Mom, Dad, and the entitled farmer, EF. One Sunday, as my dad was away, our new neighbors arrived and started to open his gate. My mom decided to introduce herself and ensure the gap in the fence was enough for his access. Mom: "Hi, you must be our neighbor. We bought this property as a vacation spot. Just wanted to make sure we left you enough room to access your land through this gate." EF: "Your property line's off. The old fence shows that you're taking more than your share. You need to remove your fence." Mom: "We wondered about that too when we saw the surveyor stakes. We had the survey checked and it was done based on the town center. We were also assured that all marks were within 3 inches of true." EF: "That can't be right. This stream is crucial for watering my sheep. If the survey's off in your favor, then all the land of the stream is mine. You need to get off." Mom: "We bought 3 acres of land, and whatever's left on the other side might be an acre, but there's no way it's 3. The survey can't be that far off." EF: "Even if the original property line was where you say it is, doesn't matter now. The law states that if something's treated as the property line for X number of years, then it becomes the property line." Mom: "You're welcome to double-check the survey if you want. We won't block your access to the stream, and as long as we can use this gate too, we'll leave it open for both of us to use." EF left without saying much more, likely taken aback by my mom's knowledge about the property. He returned later, tearing down our fence where the old dirt track crossed it and leaving a mess behind. In response to EF's hostility, my dad decided to stop accommodating him. We finished fencing our property up to the middle of EF's gate and dug the foundation for our house along the old dirt track blocking EF's access. When EF confronted my dad about the land being his, my parents had already sought legal advice and knew they were in the right. After the lawyer sent a cease and desist letter, we never heard from EF again. Our family went on to enjoy our property without further trouble, while EF had to face the consequences of his actions, including having to buy water rights for his animals. In the end, the ordeal taught us valuable lessons about standing up for our rights and not backing down from unjust demands. Our little vacation property became a cherished place for us to relax and create lasting memories, while the encounter with the entitled farmer faded into the past, leaving us with a sense of triumph and resilience. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.